Welcome back to the board. Today, two of the strongest shogi engines face off, kahm768 moving first, as sent, against test768_16_64_N150. Let's follow it quietly, move by move. Sent pushes the pawn to 76. Goat responds by pushing the pawn to 84. Sent pushes the pawn to 26. Goat pushes the pawn to 85. Sent plays the bishop to 77. Goat pushes the pawn to 34. Sent plays the silver to 68. Goat pushes the pawn to 44. Sent plays the gold to 78. Goat brings a gold to 32. Sent pushes the pawn to 16. Goat pushes the pawn to 14. Sent pushes the pawn to 46. Goat brings the silver to 62. Sent brings the silver to 38. Goat brings their silver to 42. Sent plays the king to 69, having built a Yagura-style castle around it. Goat pushes the pawn to 64. Sent plays the silver to 47. Goat brings their silver to 63. Sent plays their silver to 56. Goat responds by advancing their silver to 54. Sent pushes their pawn to 36. Goat brings their silver to 43. Sent plays the knight to 37. Goat responds by pushing their pawn to 94. Sent pushes their pawn to 96. Goat brings their gold to 52. Sent pushes their pawn to 25. Goat plays their bishop to 33. Sent's king moves to 79. Goat pushes their pawn to 74. Sent brings their gold to 48. Goat plays the king to 42, building a Yagura-style castle around it. Sent pushes the pawn to 45. Goat's pawn takes the pawn on 45. Sent's bishop captures the bishop on 33, promoting to a horse with check, an inaccuracy when the engine preferred just capturing the bishop without promoting, and the game now clearly favors Sent. Goat's knight captures the horse on 33. Sent pushes the pawn to 24. Goat captures the pawn on 24. Sent recaptures the pawn on 24 with their rook. Goat drops a pawn on 23. Sent swings the rook over to 29. Goat drops a bishop on 44. Sent drops a bishop on 77. Goat's bishop takes the bishop on 77, promoting to a horse. Sent silver captures the horse on 77. Goat drops their knight to 73. Sent drops a bishop on 26. Goat plays the gold to 22. Sent drops a pawn on 44. Goat brings out the silver to 32. Sent pushes the pawn to 35. Goat takes the pawn on 35. Sent pushes the pawn to 15. Goat captures the pawn on 15. Sent's lance captures the pawn on 15. Goat's lance captures the lance on 15, a mistake that clearly favors Goat, as the engine preferred dropping a bishop on 18. Sent's bishop captures the lance on 15. Goat pushes the pawn to 86, a mistake that clearly favors Goat, with the engine preferring to drop a lance on 12 instead. Sent's silver takes the pawn on 86. Goat drops a pawn on 14. Sent pushes the pawn to 75. Goat captures the bishop on 15 with their pawn. Sent takes the pawn on 74 with their pawn. Goat brings their knight to 65. Sent plays the pawn to 73, promoting it to a token. Goat swings the rook to 81. Sent silver takes the knight on 65. Goat's pawn takes the silver on 65. Sent drops a knight on 34, delivering check. Goat's king moves to 31. Cent plays the token to 72. Goat plays the rook to 83, a mistake that clearly favors Goat, though the engine preferred the rook to 51. Cent drops a pawn on 74. Goat pushes the pawn to 66, a mistake that clearly favors Goat, and the engine preferred dropping a lance on 76 instead. Cent pushes the pawn to 73, promoting to a token, but the balance swings toward Goat. Goat captures the pawn on 67 with the pawn, promoting to a token, but the engine preferred dropping a bishop on 65. Cent plays the gold, capturing the token on 67. Goat drops a lance on 61, a blunder that clearly favors Cent, the engine preferred dropping a bishop on 65 instead. Cent drops a pawn on 63, but the balance swings toward Goat. Goat drops a bishop on 65, which an engine note says was the preferred move. Cent's token captures the rook on 83. Goat's bishop captures the pawn on 87, promoting to a horse, which was a mistake, as the engine preferred the bishop capturing the rook on 29, promoting to a horse. Cent plays the gold to 77, and the balance swings toward Goat. Goat drops a silver on 88, checking the king. Cent's king moves to 68. Goat's silver captures the gold on 77 with check, a mistake that leaves the game favoring Goat, when the engine preferred capturing the pawn on 63 with a lance. Cent's silver captures the silver on 77. Goat's lance captures the pawn on 63, delivering a check. Cent responds by dropping a pawn to 66. Goat drops a pawn to 76. Cent swings the rook across to 61, a ranging rook approach, dropping it with check. Goat drops a gold to 41. Cent advances the silver to 88. Goat plays the lance captures the pawn on 66, with check, a blunder that the engine preferred to drops a pawn on 67 instead. Cent drops a pawn on 67, but Goat is clearly on top now. Goat's lance captures the pawn on 67, promoting to a promoted lance with check, which was a blunder, as the engine preferred the horse capturing the silver on 88 instead. Cent's king takes the promoted lance on 67. Goat drops a pawn on 66, checking the king. Cent's king captures the pawn on 66, but Goat is clearly on top now. Goat's horse captures the silver on 88, with check. Cent's king moves to 75, though Goat is clearly on top now. Goat's horse captures the pawn on 44, which swings the balance toward them. Cent's knight captures the gold on 22, promoting to a promoted knight, with check. Goat's king takes the promoted knight on 22, and with that, Goat is clearly on top. Cent drops a lance on 68, which is an interesting choice considering Goat is clearly on top now. Goat plays the horse to 55, a blunder that the engine preferred to avoid with the gold to 63, and the game now clearly favors Goat. Cent drops a lance on 14, but Goat is clearly on top now. Goat drops a silver on 65, a blunder that the engine preferred to see as a pawn to 77, promoting to a token instead. Cent drops a silver on 64. Goat's horse captures the silver on 64 with check, a mistake that clearly favors Cent, as the engine preferred the horse to capture the lance on 99 instead. Cent's rook captures the horse on 64, promoting to a dragon, but the balance swings toward Goat. Goat's king moves to 31, an inaccuracy that makes the game clearly favor Cent, as the engine preferred dropping a silver on 74. Cent's lance now captures the silver on 65, as the engine preferred dropping a silver on 74. Goat moves the king to 42. Cent plays the token to 62, a blunder that clearly favors Cent, though the engine preferred dropping a pawn on 34 instead. Goat drops a pawn on 63. Cent's token captures the gold on 52, with check, and Cent is clearly on top now. Goat's gold captures the token on 52, but Cent is still clearly on top. Cent drops a silver on 31, delivering check. Goat's king captures the silver on 31, but Cent is clearly on top now. Cent drops a gold on 22, checking Goat's king. Goat's king moves to 41, and Cent is clearly on top. Cent plays the gold capturing the silver on 32, with check, a blunder as the engine preferred dropping a gold on 31 instead, and the game now clearly favors Cent. Goat's king captures the gold on 32. Cent drops a bishop on 21 with check, a blunder which the engine preferred to be a silver drop on 21, and the game now clearly favors Cent. Goat moves the king to 41, and Cent is clearly on top now. Cent drops a gold on 32, with check, a blunder as the engine preferred dropping a silver on 32 instead, and the game now clearly favors Cent. Goat's king moves to 51. Cent drops a silver on 42, with check, and is clearly on top now. Goat's king moves to 61. Cent's dragon captures the silver on 54, and Cent is clearly on top now. Goat drops a silver on 86, checking the king. Cent's king captures the silver on 86, and Cent is clearly on top now. Goat drops a bishop on 95 with check. Cent captures the bishop with their pawn on 95, and is clearly on top now. Goat drops a silver on 85, checking the king. Cent's king captures the silver on 85, and Cent now has a forced checkmate. Goat drops a pawn on 84, checking Cent's king, but Cent still has a forced checkmate. Cent moves the king to 74, a blunder that still allows a forced checkmate, though the engine preferred king to 75. Goat drops a knight on 62, delivering check, but Cent is clearly on top now, and the engine notes that Cent has a forced checkmate. Cent plays the king to 73, and Cent now has a forced checkmate. Goat drops a gold on 74, checking the king, but Cent still has a forced checkmate. Cent's dragon captures the gold on 74, which continues the forced checkmate. Goat's gold captures the silver on 42, but Cent still has a forced checkmate. Cent's gold captures the gold on 42, a blunder since the engine preferred dropping a gold on 72, but Cent still has a forced checkmate. Goat drops a silver on 81, but Cent still has that forced checkmate. Cent drops a gold on 72, with check, a blunder as the engine preferred dropping a silver on 72 instead, but Cent still has a forced checkmate. Goat silver captures the gold on 72, with check, but Cent still has a forced checkmate. Cent's token captures the silver on 72 with check, but the balance swings toward Goat. And there it is, kahm768 takes the game. Thank you for sitting with me at the board. I'll see you at the next one.